All right, hello. Mr. H here with a few takeaways from week 5 of Purdue University's special education course, EDPS 51500. So the focus of this video is going to be why IEP goals must be well-defined and observable. So our previous video was why they need to be measurable, and this is defining the goal and observing it. So goals that are not observable or well-defined can result in interventions, both academic and behavioral, that are not appropriate to address the student's needs, right? And as we know, within special education, we fall under the FAPE guidelines, and the A in FAPE is appropriate. So that means that we are creating an individualized education plan that will elevate our student based on their needs to the educational standards and level and acumen of their peers that do not have qualifying disabilities. So we actually have a legal requirement to make sure that our goals are well-defined, observable, measurable, and all these things. So an example of an ill-defined goal, or for example, ill-defined goals may be unachievable, or it could be described in such a way as to show achievement when in fact this has not happened, right? So that's defining a goal so vaguely or poorly that it looks like the student's just exceeding and excelling, but they're actually not picking up any of these skills. So in either of these cases, right, so it is unachievable or it looks like they're achieving when they're not, the student is not adequately being served. And the time lost as a result of a poorly written goal is not easily made up over the course of a school year. So time is the biggest limiting factor to any educator. So time spent kind of working backwards or in the wrong direction, we're not going to get that back. Instead, we're going to have to adjust and spend what time remaining, maybe reteaching those skills or going back and covering skills that we thought we'd already mastered. All in all, there's not really a way to recover for that. So when saying a goal is unobservable, this means that either the goal is so vague as to not give a basis for observation, or the goal is so broad you cannot narrow your observation to provide a useful data set, right? So it can go either way. In both instances, an outside observer, so an outside observer would be not the teacher or whoever is handling the majority of observations or the daily observations, however that's going. This would be somebody else. They cannot enter the observation setting and complete observations that will be in line or in accordance with the previous observers, right? So we call this having a low inter-observer agreement score. So basically our data is not going to be reliable. It's going to be kind of all over the place. It's going to be heavily impacted by bias, which I mentioned in some previous videos, things like that, right? So then when the CCC team meets again, the observations will not be useful in reevaluating the goal. So I have observations that are all over the place. I have our limited time for our case conference, and it amounts to almost nothing, right? We've learned nothing from that. The people that aren't part of the observations, that are the other experts within the team, are given almost nothing to work with. So kind of to wrap this up, having a well-defined observable goal, as I said, it's part of FAPE. It's that A, that appropriate. So it's helping us individualize the learning plan. It's helping us get the most out of that so that we can elevate our qualifying learners to that of their non-qualifying peers. Right? It's going to help with your data collection, your observations, designing your intervention, and kind of like a domino effect. So it's going to touch a little bit of everything that goal has to deal with. So yeah, thank you for watching.